Alright, buddy, Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. These are the 5 things we learned as the Miami Dolphins lost to the New England Patriots. Number 1, injuries strike again. So, of course, we went into the game without Tua, and then Teddy is in there and probably breaks one of his fingers. You go into the game without Teron Armstead, without Xavier Howard, without Bradley Chubb, and then you lose the left tackle, replacing Teron Armstead. And we've seen that stack up throughout the year, and then it was just at a boiling point yesterday against the Patriots. Our best players, outside of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, were all missing. This is not an excuse at all. It's just really what makes you want to bang your head into a wall. We are at the critical point in the season where if we had won yesterday, we'd be in the playoffs right now. Part of why we lost that can't be ignored is the fact that we went into that game missing so many key players, and then our starting quarterback goes down on top of it. Number 2, no second year. So, while injuries were definitely a part of it, they are by no means the end-all, be-all for why we lost that game yesterday. The Miami Dolphins haven't found a way to adapt in games. They've had some great first halves of games, but in the last 2 games, only 7 points combined between the two, that one touchdown being a Raheem Mostert touchdown yesterday against the Patriots. It seems that Mike McDaniel hasn't found a way to pivot when things aren't going well. Yeah, you're down to your second, then third string quarterback, but Teddy was doing decently well statistically, 12 and 19, 160 yards, a touchdown, and an interception, but we weren't doing enough. We weren't putting points up on the board. We really outplayed them for the first 3 quarters, and then when Teddy Bridgewater goes down, the ballgame completely changes. But it's something we've seen now for the entirety of the 5-game losing streak. We play a certain way. We like with Tua in the ballgame to be able to hit these 15 to 20 yard passes and just try to nickel and dime our way down the field. Maybe nickel and dime, that's actually not the right terminology, but you know what I mean. Try to get these chunk plays, not nickel and dime. Try to get these chunk plays down the field. And that's why coming into the game yesterday, we were 31st in plays ran per ball game. We did not have a lot of 10-play drives, and we saw that yesterday. We did have a couple lengthy drives, one leading to points. And that's just something we're not accustomed to. When playing against the New England Patriots, you're not going to be able to get these big hitter shots down the field. They play very good defense, and the 2 interceptions they had, that's what we know from them. They know we know they're going to be prepared every single week, but the offense didn't adjust. The defense actually played decently well for the first time in weeks, so it's unfortunate that we wasted one of our few good defensive performances of the year. But I do have my question marks about Mike McDaniel. He is a first-time play caller, so it makes sense that he has these struggles, but I have yet to see the Miami Dolphins pivot off of one idea, one mentality, and switch over to another mid-game, and it result in a win. Number 3, we need a new kicker. Jason Sanders, if he wasn't on such an egregious contract, he's making $22 million over 5 years. If he wasn't making that much money, I wouldn't have a big of a problem with him. But according to lineups.com, they have him ranked as the 19th ranked kicker. He's 43 of 49. He's 41 of 44 on his extra points. Let me just make sure I have that stat correct. I know it's 41 of 44 on the extra points, but let's see, Jason Sanders, 23 of 29, not 43. 23 of 29 on his kicks. That's not great. That's not horrible. But when you're eating up $3 million a year, next year is going to be above $4 million a year. That's a problem. You got to start hitting your kicks. When we're relying on you now, back-to-back games, kicks that could have changed the outcome of the game, Jason Sanders missed. Last week against Green Bay, he nails his first 2, misses a key field goal that would have changed the tide of the game. And then yesterday, we lose by 2 points. He misses a field goal. It's windy. It's from distance. I understand that. But you're making the money that you're supposed to be hitting those kicks. Now, when it comes to the offseason, I expect a lot of competition. We need to bring somebody in, whether it's by an undrafted free agent or somebody who's already out there. Just push Jason Sanders. He's a little too comfortable, and he's really dropped off ever since getting this contract. Number 4, Brian Daboll is just better than Mike McDaniel. Brian Daboll took over the New York Giants, and they were in a spot of complete disarray. Under Joe Judge, that team had no positive identity. They looked like they were about to move off Daniel Jones. It was a question mark whether Saquon Barkley would be getting an extension. The team was truly a mess, and now he has the team already locked into the playoffs with 1 week to spare, have a 9, potentially 10-win football team with not a lot of moving parts that you would like on your offense. Look at their wide receiver core. How many wide receivers on the Giants that are currently playing could you actively name? Obviously, there's Darius Slayton, but you go down the list and There's not a lot of household names on that offense outside Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. There's probably not a single household name on that offense, but he's getting it done. He's finding a way to win football games. Part of that is he does have clearly much more experience on Mike McDaniel, and this is the second point I've made on Mike McDaniel. I'm not in any way giving up on the guy. He's young. He is a first-time play caller. He's learning things on the job, but he's not perfect. We can't anoint him as king and act like he's this chosen savior to save the Dolphins as the head coach. He's not there yet. He has room to grow, and I'm sure he will grow. I have confidence in him to grow. But what Brian Daboll, with no Tyreek Hill, with no Jalen Waddle, he's getting it done. With Daniel Jones, who was about to be run out of New York, now Daniel Jones, 4 total touchdowns yesterday against, yes, a bad Indianapolis Colts team, but they had an opportunity to clinch their playoff spot, and they got it done. We had an opportunity to clinch our playoff spot, and here we are. And that brings us to number 5, cross your fingers. After losing yesterday, the Miami Dolphins no longer control their own destiny. That's something that I've come on here in the last few 5 things we learned and say, you know what, we're losing, we're not looking good, but at the very least, we control our own destiny. No longer in our hands. Lost 5 games in a row, from 8-3 to 8-8, and now the Patriots are currently in the final wild card spot. Now, going into Week 18, we've seen what happens last game of the season. We don't know yet whether the Bills will have anything to play for or not. That's going to be reliant on whether they win today and then what happens with the Chiefs game next week. If the Bills lose tonight on Monday Night Football and the Chiefs win on Saturday, then the Bills are automatically locked. At the very least, the 2. I don't know. They might actually they might have something to fight for. They might still have the fight between the 2 and the 3 seeds, so they might still kind of have something to play for. But we have to worry about somebody else to help us get into the playoffs. We were 8-3, we're 8-8, and it's our own fault. We've walked ourselves into this mess, and now you don't get to determine exactly whether you get to the playoffs or not. We have to take care of business against the Jets, who are now eliminated from playoff contention, but that's not going to stop them from going full throttle. They would love to eliminate one of their division rivals from going on to the playoffs. I expect a full attack from the New York Jets. I don't expect them to rest any sort of starters, especially since the uncertainty with that team in the first place as to who's going to be starting at quarterback. I expect a full performance from the New York Jets next week, and we can only hope that the Buffalo Bills do the same when they play the New England Patriots. We saw 2 years ago the Buffalo Bills play their full onslaught of starters until the game was out of hand, which was only the second quarter, and we couldn't come back from that. Hopefully they do the same against the Patriots and a full throttle Buffalo Bills team. I definitely feel should handle the New England Patriots, but we can't rely on should. We shouldn't be relying on should. We should have taken care of business weeks ago. We had the Buffalo Bills dead to rights. We had a lead on them in the fourth quarter against the Green Bay Packers. Had a lead at halftime against the New England Patriots. We had the lead in the second half. It's not acceptable. The fall off from this team is unacceptable. If you joined me in the live stream yesterday, I really appreciate you guys stopping by and just listening to me rant for an hour about how tired I am of this football team. I am very tired of this football team. I'm tired of putting my hope into a team and then ultimately getting squashed. This is now 3 years in a row that potentially we could miss in the playoffs on the last game of the season, or second to last game of the season. And I'm just so incredibly tired. I've never seen a playoff game won in my entire lifetime, and I don't feel confident that's going to happen this year. Even if we do make the playoffs, we're going to probably go on the road to either Kansas City, to Buffalo, to Cincinnati, and I don't feel great about going against any of those teams. At one point, I thought we might win the division, and now here we are. I don't know we're going to make the playoffs. Thank you for tuning in to 5 things we learned against the New England Patriots. Let me know about your thoughts about the game down in the comments below. Obviously, we're all annoyed and sick and tired of how the last month and change has gone for the Miami Dolphins. It's been an emotional roller coaster in the worst ways possible. So please let me know down in the comments what you think. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.